Genders of the Railroad, Part 19, Unable to Fix It. Springtime was really beautiful on Sodor and North America, as the trains were being really useful. One day, Shelley was in the yard with Mr. Orklin. "I'm ready to go, sir," said Shelley. "Oh, good," said Mr. Orklin. And Shelley steamed out of the northeast corridor. It was electrified for electric trains. And it was a mixed-up train with passengers and freight. "I'm pulling the mix-up train," Shelley said. "Choo-choo!" And the hopper cars were full of coal. And the boxcars were loaded up too. And the interior of the invisible coach felt a little weird. And then the logs were loaded up. And then the guard looked out in his brake van up to the engine. And then the rail cars rolled along nicely. And the sleeper car passengers were in their roomettes and bedrooms. It was a nice ride. The train moved along the northeast corridor. And then the passengers were having a good meal in the dining car. The train soon arrived in the mountains. And it was huge! And the whole train went up and up and up and up and up. And then the coach seat passengers saw the whole train from up front. It was giant. Some passengers were at the station waiting for their commuter train as Shelley steamed by with the whole train. "Here I come," Shelley said as she whooshed by with all her weight. A few minutes later, the sun began to set and the passengers were having a good meal in the dining car. "I must get to the other side," Shelley said, and she went under the cars in the rear on the bridge above her, and the whole train went along. When nightfall came, the passengers went to sleep in their sleeper cars as Shelley steamed through the night sky. The Horizon coach was quiet and peaceful. And when morning broke, the passengers were having their breakfast in the dining car, and the train moved along. And then Shelley went through a tunnel. And then the whole huge train was mega! "Here we go!" laughed the trucks. Meanwhile, Henry was pulling the flying kipper along the coastline when he saw a big train coming. "That's huge," Henry said. And Shelley steamed through the mountains. And Henry passed by Shelley as she went by. The coach class passengers waved to Henry as he was about to go by. Then some rail cars were parked in the yard, waiting for an engine to collect. And Henry steamed by with his boxcars. It was a long train. Then a sign said, "Commercial property for sale or lease." And the train went over the camera as it laid on the track. It was a big train. Shelley soon rounded a curve with all her freight cars. It was a big train. Then the whole woman train went over a culvert. It was gushing water into the stream. Just then, the grade crossing gates began to go down, and the car drove up to the gates. And Shelley steamed over the crossing. It was a long train. And the car sat at the crossing, waiting for the whole train to go by. Then Shelley began to pass the porting docks near the coastline of the Atlantic Ocean. Then there was a sudden crack. But Shelley didn't know. She was feeling pleased with herself, doing the journey for herself. But then there was trouble. The boxcar items were inside. And then the whole train moved along, and then there was a sudden crack! The coupling broke! And then the train started moving with no engine! "Our train's broken!" cried the dining car employee. And it was! The cafe dining car had suffered a broken coupler, and it rolled down the line like a bowling ball. Just then, Mency arrived with a new half just after all the passengers had jumped clear. She was really friendly. She pulled up just in time. "The tail of my train broke away," Shelley said. "Can you take care of it while I go save the rest of it?" "Of course I will," Mency replied. "That'll be great." And the runaway train went faster and faster. It was with no engine, and the brake van was in front. Whee! Cheered the guard. He was having a great old time as the train went faster and faster like a roller coaster. It was out of control. The guard jumped off at the station as the train sped by. It was going crazy like a maniac. And then it went down the grade and onto the bridge. It was going faster and faster. And then the train passed a field with people having a picnic, and it went faster and faster and faster. It was way out of control. And right in the path was Becky and Dwee pulling a goods train. "We have to stop!" cried Becky. "There's something coming!" "What's that coming, Dwee?" I don't really know, Becky, said Dwee, but it's a runaway train. And it was. The signalman switched the points, and the freight cars went right into the tree. That was close, said Becky. The brake van suffered damage. Mr. Cakester was proud. Great work, Becky, he said. You are really useful. Thank you, sir. I'm really useful too, sir, said Shelley. Before long, Shelley pulled all the coaches and freight cars back onto the main line. I'm ready to get to work again, sang Shelley.